Let me welcome all of you to this DEPAC meeting. It will be my last DEPAC meeting, and I think I must use this meeting as an opportunity to thank all of you that have been attending this meeting, and through you to thank your governments and institutions and organizations for the support that has been provided my government and country. May I now invite the co-chairs to make statements.
I think it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here today, and a real honor to be part of the final DEPAC meeting under His Excellency the President. And I think looking forward, I just want to make 3 or 4 points from the side of the development partners. I think issue number 1 is going forward, we have to support the private sector. I think we need to support the private sector, more than what we've done in the past. The World Bank has just finished the enterprise survey for 2017, where we spoke to 152 companies in Sierra Leone. Looking at the top 5 constraints that they mentioned, issue number 1, by far the biggest constraint for private sector companies in Sierra Leone, access to finance. Easily, by far the biggest constraint. And I think if you look at the amount of finance, it's only 4% of GDP which is going to the private sector right now. It is some of the lowest numbers that we have across Africa. Access to finance has been and remains a major problem for the private sector. Issue number 2, access to electricity. I think a lot has been done over the last 10 years, and we are very pleased that in the last week of Parliament, they have approved the CEC project, and they've also approved the Bumbuna 2 project. I think these 2 projects are going to really help to transform the energy landscape of Sierra Leone going forward. Issue number 3, access to land. I think we launched the land policy earlier this year. I think access to land has been and remains a major issue which needs to be dealt with. We would like to congratulate Ichi for launching the land policy during the last DEPAC, but a lot needs to be done, especially in the provinces, on improving access to land for the private sector and clearing up issues of land title between the paramount chiefs, between the ministries and the central government. A lot of work needs to be done, but the roadmap for that has already been specified in the land policy, and we need to move forward for implementing the land policy. Issue number 4, not unique to Sierra Leone, issues of corruption. And we are very clear that it was good to note that all 3 flag bearers have put this issue on the agenda for the forthcoming elections, and this is something which will be discussed and which will be acted upon. Issue number 5 is the issue of tax rates. I think the issue is your tax base is extremely narrow, and I think you need to enlarge the tax base, and that is something that you need to really move on. The private sector has to be the engine of growth. The private sector really needs to have the constraints lifted so that they can really grow the economy and create the jobs. Issue number 2 we would like to mention is the issue of poverty reduction and jobs. I think what we've seen since 2002, there has been major reduction in poverty. When the war ended, 70% of the population of Sierra Leone was close to or below the poverty line. In 2011, the ratio had come down to 50%. And in 2017, we expect the rate to be close to around 40%. And a household survey has started, and we will get the final numbers once it is completed. The third issue we'd really like to mention is the issue of human capital, issue of education and health. I think on education, we've overcome the first phase. We've got the kids in school. The quality, the issue now is quality of education. And we are glad that the Teacher Service Commission is operational and the Ministry of Education has transferred the files. But I think we really have a long way to go on improving the quality of education. On health, I think a lot of funding has gone into the health sector, and I think things are improving, but even if you look at the maternal mortality statistics right now, that still is an area of concern, and we need to work in the health sector. Fourth issue is really broader issues of governance and decentralization. I think reducing the overlapping jurisdictions between the central ministries and paramount chiefs and local councils. I think decentralization is an unfinished agenda. And I think we need to work on decentralization going forward. And lastly, the issue of infrastructure. I think a lot has been done, but Sierra Leone is really blessed with its natural harbor. A lot has been done on improving roads, on electricity, on the harbor. I think we really need to focus on developing and building the infrastructure that has been put in place, and that including the telecom infrastructure, which really is your legacy. This is something which started in 2010, and we've come a long way by 2017. So I thank you, sir, and I wish you all the best.